Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk a little bit about dividend. Now if you want to see more videos in the future, make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you have any questions about dividend, drop me a comment. There's this idea about investing in stocks that if you accumulate enough, you can simply retire and live off the passive income from the dividend. Yeah, that's a terrible idea, and let me explain to you why. Now, first off, I'm not arguing that retiring early and simply living off passive income could be a fulfilling and relaxing existence. But although dividend is a great way to accumulate money through stocks and shares, it's not going to make you wealthy or financially independent. Living off your dividend, you say? Well, let's have a look at that. So the average wage in the US is about $63,000, but you could probably get by with a comfortable living with about $50,000. Now, the average dividend payout of the SP 500 over the last 20 years has been around 2%. Meaning $1,000 would net you the grand total of $20 in dividend, meaning you would need $2.5 million in a stock paying 2% or more in dividend for a $50,000 annual wage and $3.15 million for the average wage. Now, the median net worth of a 30-something-year-old in the US is about $32,600, which, if all invested in an S&P 500 ETF, would currently yield you $720. That's not enough to retire on, and it's not going to increase much year over year because you're taking out the dividend and not letting your portfolio grow. Because you see, this brings me to my second reason. Dividend is great, and it can account for as much as 50% of the total gains you get off the stock market. But the point of it is to reinvest the dividend, organically growing your portfolio. Because when you go with a dividend investment, you're sacrificing the potential growth, but it can still do well as long as you reinvest the dividend. And over the last 30 or 40 years, I think reinvested dividend has actually accounted for more gains than actual price appreciation. So dividend is great, but not if you take it out of your account. Now, people retiring nowadays are probably in their 70s, born sometime during the 1950s. So how well would you do if you lived off your dividend since 1950 and took it out of your portfolio versus keeping it and reinvesting it? So from 1950 to the 2020, you would have a 15,538% return in the S&P 500 if you didn't reinvest the dividend. Dividend reinvested, however, 144,247. That's an 860% dividend, which goes to show dividend is great, but only if you leave it in your portfolio. So dividend is your friend, and it's a great thing as long as it's reinvested. And when you hear stories of people who just bought some blue chip stocks paying 2 or 3% dividend, they went on to become 70-year-old and they have millions in their stock account. That's because they reinvested the dividend or they didn't even touch it. Besides, most people will never see $2.5 million in any investment account, let alone 3.15 million for an average wage. And those who do probably took big bets on growing companies showing strong innovation like the Amazon and Teslas and Netflix of the world. These stocks don't pay a dividend, and they never have. Maybe they never will, but they have made a lot of money for investors. So don't trick yourself with this seemingly brilliant plan on downsizing your living, retiring, and just seeing the dividend trickle in, because you can do so much better. find great growing companies, preferably small or medium sized, that shows great promise and hold for the long term. That's how you accumulate millions of dollars in your account, and that's how you can eventually retire early and live off your investment portfolio. So that's my take on the whole retire on your dividend myth, because it really is. Dividend is a great thing, but only if you look at it in a long-term perspective, which is something very few people can. So hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I'll see you guys in my next video.